Good evening. This is Akashvani. I am Valsa Williams with the news at 9. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches Singapore to review progress of India-Singapore strategic partnership with his counterpart. Centre approves centralised pension payments system enabling EPFO-registered employees to receive their pension in any bank. Centre and Tripura government sign historic peace pact with National Liberation Front of Tripura and All Tripura Tiger Force. IMD forecasts heavy rainfall over Gujarat, Konkan, Northeast and Rajasthan for next 7 days. And in Paris Paralympics, India's Sachin Sarjirao Khiladi clinches silver medal in men's shotput F46 event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Lion City in Singapore this afternoon on the second leg of his two-nation tour after concluding his successful visit to Brunei. He was received by Singapore's Minister of Home Affairs and Law, K. Shanmugam. Mr. Modi is visiting the country at the invitation of his counterpart Lawrence Wong. Speaking to media persons, MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said both leaders will meet to review the progress of the India-Singapore strategic partnership and exchange views on regional and global issues of mutual interest.
Tomorrow, he has meetings with the Prime Minister of Singapore in the morning, where he'll also receive ceremonial welcome, and thereafter he will have meetings with the President of Singapore. He will also visit AEM, which is a semiconductor facility. Prime Minister also has business engagement. He will be talking, conversing and meeting CEOs of Singaporean companies. This visit is important as it gives a major push to India's Act East policy.
Earlier today, India and Brunei signed an MOU for cooperation in the operation of telemetry, tracking and telecommand station for satellites and launch vehicles. The two countries also decided to elevate the bilateral ties to enhanced partnership to further strengthen and deepen the relationship in all areas of mutual interest. It was decided after delegation-level talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sultan of Brunei, Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah, in Bandar Seri Begawan. In his remarks during the talks, the Prime Minister said Brunei, being an important partner in India's Act East policy and Indo-Pacific vision, is a guarantee of a bright future for both nations.
भारत और ब्रुनेई के बीच गहरे ऐतिहासिक और सांस्कृतिक संबंध है। इस साल हम अपने राजनीतिक संबंधों की 40वीं सालगिरह मना रहे हैं। इस अवसर पर हमने निर्णय लिया है कि अपने संबंधों को एनहांस पार्टनरशिप का दर्जा देंगे। हमारी साझेदारी को स्ट्रेटेजिक दिशा देने के लिए हमने सभी पहलुओं पर व्यापक चर्चा की। हम आर्थिक, वैज्ञानिक और रणनीतिक क्षेत्रों में अपने सहयोग को मजबूत करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है।
Mr. Modi highlighted that India supports Vikaswad or developmentalism, not Vistarwad or expansionism.
भारत की एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी और इंडो पैसिफिक विजन में ब्रुनेई का महत्वपूर्ण साझेदार रहा। भारत हमेशा आसियान सेंट्रलिटी को प्राथमिकता देता आया है और आगे भी देता रहेगा। हम सहमत हैं इस क्षेत्र में कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट पर सहमति बने। हम विस्तारवाद नहीं, विकासवाद की नीति का समर्थन करते हैं।
The pensioners of the Employees Pension Scheme will now be able to receive their pension from any bank across the country starting from January 1st, 2025. This will benefit more than 78 lakh pensioners of the Employees Provident Fund Organisation, EPFO. Union Labour and Employment Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia said the approval of the centralised pension payment system marks a significant milestone in the modernisation of the EPFO. There will also be no need for pensioners to visit the branch for any verification at the time of the commencement of their pension, and the pension shall be immediately credited upon release. The centralised system will also ensure the disbursement of pensions throughout India without any need for the transfer of pension payment orders from one office to another, even when the pensioner moves from one location to another or changes their bank or branch. A memorandum of settlement was signed among the Centre, Tripura government and representatives of the National Liberation Front of Tripura NLFT and All Tripura Tiger Force ATTF in New Delhi today. Home Minister Amit Shah, Chief Minister of Tripura Manik Saha and senior officials of the Home Ministry and Tripura government were present on the occasion. Speaking on the occasion, the Home Minister said it is a matter of joy that NLFT and ATTF have given up weapons and joined the mainstream and expressed their commitment towards the development of Tripura.
नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लिए और त्रिपुरा से जुड़ा हुआ एक तीसरा समझौता है। अभी तक लगभग 10,000 उग्रवादियों ने सरेंडर किया है, हथियार छोड़ा है और मेन स्ट्रीम में आए। समझौता होने से 328 से ज्यादा सशस्त्र कैडर आज मेन स्ट्रीम में आएंगे, भारत के नागरिक होने का गौरव भी प्राप्त करेंगे और विकसित त्रिपुरा में अपना योगदान भी दे जाएंगे।
The BJP today released its first list of 67 candidates for the assembly polls in Haryana. Chief Minister of Haryana, Naib Singh Saini, will contest from Ladwa. The party has fielded Captain Abhimanyu from Narnond Assembly constituency, Anil Vij from Ambala Cant, and Shruti Chaudhary from the Tosham seat. Shakti Rani Sharma will be the BJP candidate from the Kalka Assembly seat, and Santosh Sarwan will contest from the Mulana Assembly seat. The Jananayak Janata Party and Azad Samaj Party Kashi Ram Alliance also released the first list of their candidates for the Haryana Assembly elections today. The alliance has announced 19 candidates in the first list. According to the joint list released by the alliance, the Jananayak Janata Party has fielded former Deputy Chief Minister Dushyant Chautala from Uchana, Digvijay Chautala from Dabwali, Amarjit Dhanda from Julana, and Rajdeep Hogat from Dadri. In the Kashmir Valley, election-related activities for the upcoming assembly elections are gaining momentum with each passing day. Senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi today addressed a public rally of the India Alliance at Duru Sports Stadium in Anantnag to extend support to Congress Alliance candidate G.A. Mir, who is contesting from the Duru Shahabad Assembly constituency in the district. During his speech, Mr. Gandhi said the India Alliance represents the true aspirations of the people. National Conference leader Farooq Abdullah also addressed the gathering. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our X handle at AIR News Alerts. India's service sector activities surged to a 5-month high in August due to resilient demand and easing inflationary pressures, according to the Services Purchasing Managers Index PMI released today. The index, compiled by S&P Global, highlighted that PMI numbers rose to 60.9 in August from 60.3 in July. In contrast, the PMI for manufacturing has shown a downturn as the index dipped to a 3-month low of 57.5 in August. The improvement in services has kept the overall composite PMI unchanged from July's 60.7. The 610th meeting of the Central Board of Directors of the Reserve Bank of India was held in Mumbai today. The board reviewed the global and domestic economic scenarios and outlooks. The board also examined various operational areas of the Reserve Bank of India, including the functioning of local boards and the activities of select central office departments. The meeting was chaired by RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das and attended by Deputy Governors Dr. Michael Debabrata Patra, Mr. M. Rajeshwar Rao and Mr. T. Ravi Shankar and other senior officials. The government has plans to promote both Indian alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages globally, with a target of $1 billion in export revenue over the past few years. The Agricultural and Processed Food Export Development Authority has been working to increase exports of Indian spirits to major foreign destinations. India currently ranks 40th in the world for alcoholic beverage exports. Amrit Udyan will be exclusively open for all teachers tomorrow on the occasion of Teachers' Day. The President's Secretariat said in a release that entry is from gate number 35 of Rashtrapati Bhavan. A free shuttle bus service from Central Secretariat Metro Station to gate number 35 will also be available for their convenience. The Amrit Udyan Summer Annuals Edition 2024 is open to the public from the 16th of last month to the 15th of this month from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except on Mondays. Entry is free of cost. Visitors can book their slots online on the Rashtrapati Bhavan website. Walk-in visitors can register themselves through self-service kiosks. placed outside gate number 35. During the tour, visitors are given a seed paper to spread awareness about the environment. In Nagaland, 6 people lost their lives and 3 were injured after a series of massive mudslides and landslides hit National Highway 29 between Kohima and Dimapur following heavy rainfall last night. The deceased include 5 males and 1 female. Mudslides and landslides struck near Perima and Sepama last night, while a landslide occurred at Bagla Peher in the early hours this morning, sinking a portion of the highway. A high-level meeting was convened by Chief Minister Nephew Rio to take stock of the disaster and discuss restoration and relief measures. Deputy Chief Minister T.R. Zeliang told Akashvani News that the state government has announced an ex gratia payment of 4 lakh rupees to each family of the deceased and 16,000 rupees to the injured as emergency relief. National Highway 29, which is completely cut off for vehicular movement, is the main lifeline for commuters travelling to the state capital Kohima and the neighbouring state of Manipur. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said the centre is closely monitoring the ongoing flood situation in Andhra Pradesh. In a social media post, Mr. Shah said the government has constituted a central team of experts led by Additional Secretary Disaster Management of the Ministry of Home Affairs. He said the team will visit the flood-affected areas for an on-the-spot assessment of flood management, reservoir management and dam safety issues and make recommendations for immediate relief. More from our correspondent.
The specially constituted central expert team will visit the flood-affected areas in Andhra Pradesh for an on-the-spot assessment of flood and reservoir management, issues of dam safety, and make recommendations for immediate relief. The state government has also intensified relief efforts in the flood-affected regions in Vijayawada. 5 tenders from 43 fire stations were mobilized to undertake large-scale cleaning operations in Vijayawada city. Meanwhile, IMD has forecast heavy rainfall over coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh in the next 48 hours with the formation of a new cyclonic depression over Bay of Bengal. Orange alert has been issued for NTR, Eluru and Palnadu districts and yellow alert for ASR, Anakapalli, Visakhapatnam, Kakinada, East and West Godavari districts. Sri Sai for Akashvani News, Vijayawada.
The Indian Meteorological Department, IMD, has forecast very heavy rainfall over Gujarat today. The weather agency has also forecast heavy rainfall over Konkan, Goa, Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura and East Rajasthan during the next 7 days. The Met Department has predicted widespread light to moderate rainfall over West, Central and Northeast India, coastal Karnataka, Kerala, Mahe, Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Sub-Himalayan West Bengal and Sikkim during the week. India's equity benchmark indices Sensex and Nifty recovered their intraday lows, ending the session with modest loss today. The decline in the domestic indices can be attributed to the concerns about a potential slowdown in the U.S. economy. A report from the business desk.
At the closing bell, the Sensex, which is a pack of 30 companies, was down 203 points at 82,353, and the Nifty 50 broke its 14 days of winning streak, ending the session with a loss of 81 points at 25,199. In the forex market, Indian rupee ended at 83 rupees and 97 paise against the US dollar. In the global crude market, the Brent crude was trading at $73.95 per barrel when reports last came in. Nishit Kumar for Akashvani News.
At the Paris Paralympics, India's shot-put thrower Sachin Sarjirao Khiladi clinched the silver medal in the men's shot-put F46 final with a walloping throw of 16.32 meters. India's Sakina Khatun is in action in women's 49-kilogram powerlifting. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches Singapore to review progress of India-Singapore strategic partnership with his counterpart. Centre approves centralised pension payments system enabling EPFO registered employees to receive their pension in any bank. Centre and Tripura government sign historic peace pact with National Liberation Front of Tripura and All Tripura Tiger Force. IMD forecasts heavy rainfall over Gujarat, Konkan, Northeast and Rajasthan for next 7 days. And in Paris Paralympics, India's Sachin Sarjirao Khiladi clinches silver medal in men's shot-put F46 event. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsoneir.gov.in and News on EIR app. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.